letting go of fear.
Hello, welcome. December 22nd, 2020, our Advent Daily Devotion. Soon to be our Christmas season devotion, and then concluding with Epiphany. Good. Our verses today come from the first chapter of Luke, 26 through 31. We just heard this. The angel Gabriel was sent by God to a town in Galilee called Nazareth, to a virgin engaged to a man whose name was Joseph of the house of David. Connections to yesterday? What? And he came to her saying, "Greetings, favored one, the Lord is with you." But she was much perplexed by his words and pondered what sort of greeting this might be. And the angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. And now you will conceive in your womb and bear a son, and you will name him Jesus." Here's the reading. For us to ponder our quote, when we drop fear, we can draw nearer to people. We can draw nearer to the earth. We can draw nearer to all the heavenly creatures that surround us. Bell Hooks and John Perry Barlow talk. I have no idea what that is. Little thing to think about. When we drop fear, we can draw nearer to people. We can draw nearer to the earth. We can draw nearer to all the heavenly creatures that surround us. What does that mean, to drop fear? Oh, I guess that's our theme today. Letting go of fear. Which makes sense, letting go of fear. What was Mary thinking and feeling when the angel Gabriel greeted her? Being visited by an angel was one thing, but the message that Gabriel had for her, something totally different. Mary's entire world was about to change, and the path before her could only be traversed with faith, hope, and love. Fear is not inherently a bad thing. It can warn us of danger and cause us to be more cautious. It leads many of us, however, to fight, flee, or freeze, to question our identity and ability, or to lash out at those around us. Fear grows when we believe the lies it peddles, that we aren't good enough, that there isn't enough, that people won't care enough. Out of fear, we build barriers and remain isolated from ourselves and each other. Love leads us out of ourselves and moves us to create bridges instead of barriers. As we let go of fear and lean into love, we become curious and open to what's being revealed. Love beckons us closer to each other and leads us into wonder. When was the last time you let go of fear and leaned into love? Interesting to think about that, I think, right? Letting go of fear. That's interesting. Holding on or recognizing fear as something that, what does it say here? Fear is not inherently a bad thing. It can warn us of danger and cause us to be more cautious. I don't know that, again, everything just comes back to this year. I don't know that I would call it fear, but I think it is fear because it's just that feeling of the unknown and to be cautious. And being cautious right now, I think, is good. And that goes into loving our neighbor, all those things, with what's going on not only locally, but nationally, internationally. One blessing of this year and one hope that I have, even for myself, is that the calling that we hear, the thing that we hear preached all the time, I would hope, from the pulpit or where have you, in our churches, in life, separated from our faith, religion, what have you, is how do we care for one another? That's, for me, that's just been the basis of a question this entire year. How are we caring for one another, and how are we seeing past earthly things? Always comes back to this, I think. How are we seeing past earthly things and into what Jesus calls heavenly things, kingdom things? How are we living the kingdom? Then, of course, that connects with so many things we've been talking about really all the time, but then especially in this Advent, the coming of the kingdom that has come, Lord's Prayer, connections there. How are we being the kingdom? Because that is us. We are one body, but we are the kingdom. And I wonder if we approach things that way, how that might change us, how that might reform us, or sustain us. And then, of course, in turn, sustain, not that we want to reform others, but invite them into thinking about that, thinking into the to ponder. Letting go of fear. When was the last time you let go of fear and leaned into love? Lots to think about. Let's close in prayer. Sustaining God, you have not given us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power and of love and of sound mind. Inspire us to be curious and to seek out the deeper meanings and messages held in our encounters with you and with each other. Amen. Until tomorrow.